Hey, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Do Well podcast. I am Craig Bass.
And I'm Jalen.
And we have some special guests today. And one of them just wants to go ahead.
Hey.
I love it.
Hey, man.
Let's go.
I think I was the host, man. I'm sorry.
I know, right?
Nah,
I know.
you good.
Hey, man, he feels so comfortable. He just like, hey, my name.
That's right.
Who I am. I'm here.
Hey, let's go. Let's do it.
Oh, man. So, no, this is great, man. Our topic today is fatherhood, and we have two great husbands and fathers and friends of ours who are joining us today. So, go ahead. Take the floor, man, since you want to go ahead and jump the gun. Please tell people who you are.
Yes.
My name is Quentarious Parks. Went to Northeast High School. I know everyone on this podcast. We are friends. I have 2 kids. All right, Quinn, your turn.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Okay, so my name is Quentarious Jones. Most people know me as Terry. My wife called me Quinn. I am an alumni of Northeast High School, East Side Out Loud, MacTown.
East Side Out Loud.
Yes, I have one beautiful daughter. Her name is Kalani. My beautiful wife is Valencia Jones. She's also from Northeast High School. And I mean, I'm just excited to be on the podcast with y'all. And yes, we are friends, and this is cool. So
I got to start my back over, man. God,
Hey, Shawty gonna be like, you ain't say nothing.
Yeah, no, I seen the back listening, man.
Hey, shout your wife out.
Yeah, okay, I'm start back over. My name is Quentarious Parks. I went to Northeast High School. I'm married to the beautiful Shawty Winchester Parks.
Hey.
I have 2 kids, Jeremiah Hawkins and Josiah Parks. And my nickname, everybody call me Dunk, so everybody on Facebook, they know about Dunk.
Yeah,
so I think that sounds a little bit better right there.
Yeah. Let's go.
I love it, man. I love it.
Man, well, we once again thank y'all for being on with us, man. And for everybody out there that's listening, man, we appreciate you tuning in for another episode of the Do Well podcast. Once again, you always can find us on social media. You can find us on Instagram under Do Well Podcast, YouTube, Spotify, Anchor, and coming soon to Apple Music. That's all there on Do Well Podcast. We appreciate your support. Like, subscribe, comment, share it. Anything that speaks to you, let somebody know, man. It's about spreading the word, helping people grow.
Yes, sir. Well, guys, we're going to be talking about a very special topic. It's a very special topic, and it's about fatherhood. And fathers are a important and paramount foundation for society, for families, for communities. And everyone has their own experience when it comes to fatherhood. And so we wanted to bring our 2 friends on to have a discussion about their personal experience with fatherhood, starting with them being sons, because they're sons first, and now they're husbands and they're fathers. And with Father's Day coming up, this discussion can be a sensitive one for others, and it can be a place of celebration for others as well. So let's jump right into it, man. So I would love to start off with Quentez Parks, my brother. Man, just share with us, what was your experience growing up, and your relationship with your father?
Yeah, well, me and my father, growing up, me and my father, we wasn't very close, but I had like a older brother.
Mm-hmm.
He's like 12 years older than me. So my first part of growing up, he was mostly like my father. You know, I always wanted to please him. He always stayed on me about everything.
Mm-hmm.
And my dad, he was like in and out. He's come pick me up on the weekends every now and then and stuff like that. And when I turned, I think it was 9 or 10, my mom got my stepdad. So he was basically like the father figure to me then. He taught me basically everything I knew. So it's just like, I always knew, like, growing up, I always had want to be like him. Like way he used to treat me, talk to me. He didn't yell as much. He always said I didn't understand everything. Because, like, there was a part that my mom can't do, because I remember, like, growing up, even though my brother was like my father, you know, he's like, he still had a life too. You know, like, I wasn't his child, but he always treated me like that because he was so much older. So he came in and filled in and did, you know, a great job. And, you know, growing up, I always had like kind of like resentment against my real father, because I was always felt like, you know, why he, you know, never want to spend time with me. Like every time he did pick me up, it was like I was at my grandparents' house, but I don't know if he understood, you know, completely like how to be the father, you know, be a father. 'Cause I was his first child. So, you know, I guess it was a learning experience for him too. But, you know, as I got older, you know, middle school, and it was really high school that I kind of like, you know, well, I forgave him now. But, you know, in high school, we got like a little closer, came and picked me up, we talked. And, you know, it was kind of weird at first because when we used to talk, we didn't really know each other. You know, because, you know, he just, you know, raised me. So then after we got comfortable with each other, like we started calling each other, you know, now that he told me, you know, he apologized for not being in my life, how he was. And yeah, so it was like growing. So now that I have, you know, my oldest son, this is my stepson when I first got with my wife. So really like raising him, I started like learning a lot, you know, seeing, you know, a lot of stuff that I need to do. And I just, you know, that was my practice right there.
Yeah.
And then, yeah. So then after I had my son, it just was like, you know, I did, you know, I tried to do everything that my dad didn't do for me. Like, to go, you know, spending time with him more and, you know, talking to him, trying to learn about, asking him, you know, about his day and stuff like that. Yeah, but, you know, it was a real challenging experience. I'm still learning myself.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Bro, that's amazing. Wow, dude. Thank you for sharing that. That's amazing. And so I want to ask you too, man, going back to that, I know you said that there came a point in high school where the relationship started to mend. So what do you feel like was that first step that led to that relationship starting to be mended?
I was going through stuff in high school, you know, about, you know, graduating and trying to, you know, in high school, everybody can ask, what you gonna do after school, you know, and all that. And I just got overwhelmed, you know, you know, thinking to myself, had some personal stuff going on. And one day my mom had called him and reached out to him and told I was going through something. And my mom was like, well, you know, your dad supposed to call. Like, he always said it, you know, he always said he gonna call.
Yeah.
And one day I just was like, when school, he came out, he called me on the phone and told me to come outside, and he was there. We got together, you know, started talking, and it was like weird, you know, like this man really can't. He never came pick me up from school before, so you know, like we in the car, we went, you know, started talking and started learning about each other, you know. Cause at first I was like, it's too late. I felt like it was too late. So, like, I'm 17 years old, like it's too late, but you know, it's never too late. And you know, it just was like our relationship had got, you know, even though now it still be on and off between us right now, but you know, it was a great thing. It was like for that one point in my life, I knew he was there for me. And I knew that he, like, that really showed me that he really loved me. At first, I didn't. I would question it. I'm like, do he just like know he got a son to take care of? Do he really love me? But when he did that out of the blue, I really knew at that point that he loved me. So no matter what we go through now, even though our relationship still on and off, I know that he loved me. At first, I never knew that. I never knew that.
Yeah.
Wow, that's powerful, man. And I got some follow-up questions, but I do want to hear from Terry. So Terry, man, yeah, please share your experience, bro.
Yeah.
Well, growing up, I'm very similar to Quentez. My dad was not here for my childhood as well. So if I can put it this way, my dad, has anybody seen the Blue Hill Avenue? My dad was like the light skinned guy. He was like cute. I think. So he ran the streets in a way where he was in the pharmaceutical business. And so because of that, that caused him to go away to prison for a few years. So, and this was before I was born. So by the time I hit the scene, I had not met this guy until I was 16. And so growing up, I didn't have him to turn to. I didn't have him to talk to. But the thing was, my mom, she was married. So I had a stepdad, but the relationship wasn't like a really close father-son type relationship. I was closer to my grandmother, actually. I always say my Mount Rushmore of the people that influenced me were my grandmother, my mom, my mentor, who's like a father figure to me, who is Elder Michael Harvey, and the late Bishop Walter L. Haynes. So my father at first was kind of like Elder Harvey, and Bishop Haynes being like a grandfather to me. So a lot of the things that I learned in life came from those four people, and mainly as a man, those two people. And so without my dad, I never really had that feeling that was like, not really the why you wasn't here, because I'm kind of the one to say that if something isn't a certain way in your life, or if it is a certain way in your life, that God has purpose in it. So although I didn't know much about my dad at the time, I felt that if he's not here, God had some type of purpose in it. And I know that's crazy being young to say you really thought like that, but I did, because I didn't have any anger towards him. When I met him, it was like, because throughout the years, even though he was away in prison for a few years, he used to keep in contact with me. Like he would send me things, like when they had an opportunity to send things, which I thought was weird, because how can you send gifts from prison? But he sent me a basketball. He definitely sent me a basketball. I remember that. So, but it was cool though, because like I could tell he cared for me. It just couldn't get to me. And plus he was from Miami, Florida. So it was like he was away. When he was released from prison, he kind of was like on restriction, so he couldn't travel. So it was other factors, but we had it was okay, but it was never like, okay, we had a really good relationship until I met him at 16. And you would think that we met like you would think it would be similar, like Quentez said, he met his dad. He was going through some things and dad was there for him. But mine was different. It was just, he popped up in town and he said, hey, I'm at a gas station. And I was like, okay. So it was like right after church, I went to the gas station, and that was my first time meeting my dad. And we met at a gas station off of, what is that? Over there by we still call it the New Mall. If you from Macon, it's but it was definitely at a gas station by River Crossing. And so,
I'm about to say, it ain't shops at River Crossing. It's the New Mall.
It's the New Mall.
It's the New Mall, even though it's like almost 15 years old. Like it's still the New Mall. So I met him there, and so from there we kind of developed the relationship. And so when I went to college, he was there. He was there for my high school graduation. He was there for my college graduation. And so since then, our relationship has blossomed. And I had he's a totally different person. You wouldn't even know the life that he had. I mean, he's still, since he's from Miami, he definitely has a big personality. But other than that, man, you can see the changes in his life, and he's very involved in my daughter's life and in my family. It's cool. Like I said, how God works things out is all things work together for that good. So even though I didn't have him in the beginning, I get to have him now, and I think I have the best version of him. So
it's great.
Wow, that's powerful.
Wow, that's so powerful. Yes. Wow. I love that, man. I love that. And I just want to ask you too, kind of going back a little bit, what was that when you heard, that he said, hey, I'm in town, I'm at a gas station, come meet with me? Like, what was your first thought when you like are going? Because I know what you say, of course, everything works out. God worked it all out together for the good, and you didn't have resentment. So what was that first feeling? Was it just like overwhelming excitement, or was it like, oh shoot, what this man finna be like? What was that you were thinking?
I was excited. So I know what he looked like because I saw him. So I was like, okay. But then to meet him face to face was like, I don't know what to talk about. Like, I mean, I can talk about church, sir. I just left church, so I can tell you what, the preacher said or something like that. But I don't know really what to talk about. And then it was, like I said, it wasn't even a long meeting. Like, it was more because he was getting ready to head back to Miami. So it was like, he really wasn't in town for me per se. I think he was in town to see some friends. And then he kind of was like, thought it was a good thing to meet me, his son, for the first time. And so it was kind of like like when you go to, what do you call it? Like a cocktail hour for a wedding. So, but it was like a really short cocktail hour. So it's just like, hey, what's up, man? I gotta go back to Miami, but it's nice meeting you. And so it was cool because it made my heart glad because it was my dad. And so, like I said, at the time, I was 16. And so a lot of things in life, I believe at this time, most boys or young men or teens have been through. So it was like, I don't know really what else. I don't know what to ask you, because some of the stuff that I've experienced. Because even at this time, I had experienced sex. I had experienced like having a girlfriend, I experienced like some of the peer pressures of drugs, gang activity. So I had kind of experienced like being approached by some of that stuff, and I didn't really know what to ask him at this time. Like I just didn't know. So it was kind of like just a hey and a bye for the most part.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Wow. That and I love that insight there. Is like, man, I mean, I've already been through so much without you. So what is it that we're going to talk about? But you know, just a question I'm going to lay out there. Whoever wants to jump at it first, please do. You know, both of you guys shared in your stories that when you met your dads and when you connected with your dads again, you know, when you were teenagers, there was a joy that happened, you know, even though you didn't have much to say or you didn't know exactly how to approach it, but something in your heart was mended and something in your heart was just grateful for that moment. So I would like to know from you guys, what is that? Like, what is that in a child's heart that hungers for their father? What is that thing?
Yeah. Now that I think about it, you know, I had the same question myself before. I had the same question, and then as I got older, I had started thinking about it, and I was like, you know how powerful men are. Like, you know, men supposed to be there. Like, men supposed to be the leader and stuff like that. And that point, my dad had picked me up. The same feeling that Queen said, he felt like his heart was glad. Even like I felt the same way. Even though I was like, he ain't never, you know, he ain't really been there for me. But when I had got that feeling, I was like, that just show you a man's supposed to be there. A man's supposed to lead. Especially a son, well, a son and a daughter needs the father, but a son really needs an example, or you know, about, you know, it's just a man is powerful and the man has to be there.
Yes.
Man has to be there.
I definitely agree. I think that was you see, and then when you go to school and you hear about other kids, they have both parents. You hear, you go to the games, their dads are right there front center stage rooting for them. Like, I played sports, so my dad wasn't there to like see me for that stuff. So like Quentez said, like, it's like your heart feels like everything is complete, and so you just get this joy, even like just comes out of nowhere, because that's how God designed it. He designed family that way, to where, you know, a father is in the home, a mother is in the home. You know, in the society that we live in, I think we've gotten away from the importance of family. Like, it's not just about, you know, I feel this way or I feel that way. I just wanted it to be a one night stand type of deal. And I understand those things happen, but when it goes outside of God's purpose, it's going to have so many like issues and problems that can be avoided. And I feel like when I met my dad, it felt like, oh, okay, we can get back to where it's supposed to be. Even though at 16, I was like, you know, they're probably not going to get married or anything, but just for him to be in a position where he can now influence me or impact my life in a way that he's supposed to be.
Yeah, and I was really like, you know, my stepdad really showed me how great he was, because I remember I used to have these conversations with my stepdad. I'd be like, man, you know, every time he's mentioned my dad, I'd be like, man, that man don't care nothing about me. You know what I'm saying? Just like, he don't care. And my stepdad, he's always telling me a story, because he's always ask me about my dad. I mean, he'd just be like, cause my stepdad, he never knew his dad. Like, never met him, never seen him, and like never knew who he was. Like, he don't know if he was dead, alive, or nothing. And he was always telling me, like, you know, you always supposed to respect your dad. He was like, you know, I just wish I had a chance to know my dad. He was like, he wouldn't even care if his dad was never in his life. He just want to know, like, you know, really just see his face. He never saw his dad's face. He was always quitting to me. He was like, man, I never seen my dad's face. I never seen him. I never seen a picture of him or anything. But he's always showed me, like, always respect your dad. You know, so that's why I have so much respect for my stepdad, because he, you know, he came in. He never talked bad about my dad or anything. He always asked me about him. You know what I mean? Always told me to respect him, you know, and so it just was like, so that really showed me what kind of man he was. And, you know, that was the kind of man I had want to be when I grew up.
Wow. You guys are like, just like really rocking me right now, because Jalen and I, we both grew up with our dads, even though they weren't in the house, but we grew up with our fathers and like having that connection with them. That our relationships with them, definitely weren't perfect. We had conversations, offline just about this, but I never had that experience of, not knowing where my dad is and, not being able to call him. Like I can call my dad anytime and he'll answer pretty much.
Right.
So but it is an experience that so many people have, and that's why it's so important to have a conversation about it. And Jalen, did you want to jump in a question? If not, I'll have one.
One thing I will say, man, there was a common theme there was another common thing I noticed that led to that reconciliation. And I think one thing is, as fathers, it was both of y'all had a moment where y'all saw y'all dads make a conscious decision to make y'all priority. Quentez, you said it. Your dad made a priority. Hey, I'm gonna go pick him up. Quentez, you talked about your dad. He was in town, see some friends, but he made a conscious decision to say, hey, I need to see my son. And I think that is so powerful, man. But
that is.
As sons, we're grown men now. We can say, hey, I'm a man. We hear all these different mantras, especially in the world. Just, I'm a man. I don't need nobody. I don't need nothing. I'm a man. I'm independent. I'm strong. But when you revert back to it, growing up, all of us are sons. And no matter what our experiences were, there was a level of validation. There's a level of acceptance that we all wanted. And I believe every human being wants. And so I think that's so important as fathers and as men, that the people who are under us, especially children, they feel that validation. They feel that they are a priority to us. And I feel like that just informs their life.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. And just transitioning our conversation a little bit, how did your personal experience with your fathers, how did that inform who you are now? Like both of you guys have families, you're family men, and I just want to applaud you guys and celebrate you because you guys are husbands, faithful husbands that are faithful to their families. And that is to be celebrated. We need more of that. And so how did that inform your relationships now, with being husbands? I want to tag on the husband part. That's so important. Tag on husbands and fathers. Tell us about that.
Yes.
You want to go first one?
Yeah. That experience is the reason I am who I am today. I believe if it went any differently, I don't believe I'll be the same person, or I would look at life the same, or family the same. So that's kind of the reason I value my family so much, is because I grew up in a broken family. So I didn't want to take my family through that type of brokenness. And so I try my best and to my ability to be the best husband that I can be, to be the best father that I can be. And like, we're human, so we're not going to always be top notch in that area. It's going to happen. But to my ability, I'm always striving to do my best, to serve my wife, to serve my daughter. And that's what I realized true fatherhood and being a husband, what it really is serving. So I believe that when you serve them, all things will kind of fall in line. Like when you serve them, they will serve in a way, you serving each other in a way that is healthy. And that just makes the environment for a family that much better. So as far as being a husband, I feel like that's my number one mission, is to serve my wife and love her as Christ loved the church. And some men say, man, sir, what you want being like a maid to a man? What that is? No, it's not that. Think about it in a way of when you say serve, think about it in a way of you are giving 100% to this one person, and expecting zero. It's a person. One of my favorite psalms is Sho Baraka. He said that in one. But I think when we strive to do that it makes us better, and you learn so much about yourself in a marriage and then being a father. I think I shared this with Jalen one time. When Kalani hit the scene, it changed my perspective on life so quickly. Because you know you're gonna take care of a life, but especially because I wanted a boy first. So if Kalani grows up and see this, it's not that I didn't love you, sweetie. I just wanted a boy first. I wanted you later. But I just felt like having a boy first, I think for me, I think it was let me redo what wasn't for me. I didn't have my dad, so let me have a son first, so I can try to act out or play out what life should have been like for me. And so I believe God gave me a baby girl first because he wanted to say that experience was your experience, and don't try to go back and replay it. Move forward. I'm going to give you this beautiful little girl who's going to help you tap into more of your emotions. It's going to help you tap into some of your, if you want to say your softer side, to help you grow and develop as a man, because those are some areas that I felt like I wasn't as groomed in when it comes to emotions and stuff like that. And I believe that having a father and a mother in the home is so critical to that, because it helps you not just, with the day-to-day stuff, but the emotional stuff as well. And I felt like that is what has happened in my marriage, in being a father, that I'm growing emotionally, spiritually. And I mean, I love it. I enjoy it.
Wow.
Yeah. With me, I basically feel the same way Quinn feel. It was like, saying my father went there, I always try to be there for my son and stuff like that. And even with like being a husband, I'm still learning a whole lot, because like I went into, I'm not the most romantic guy in the world. So like growing up, man, like my stepdad, he's always working stuff, right? Just work, take care of him, come home, nice to my mom and stuff like that. So I grew up, I was thinking, that's all I got to do. But I didn't know about this part, man. Give me one of this. And stuff like that. So and my wife teach me a lot. She teach me a lot, man. I call Quinn sometimes, but hey, man, Shawty doing this, man. What I supposed to do with this? And he have to tell me like, okay, you know what I'm saying? So it's still like a learning experience, because like sometimes I think I try to be too perfect, so I just mess it all up. You know what I'm saying? I wake up, I clean up the bathroom and stuff like that. So she'll walk to the bathroom, she'll come out, and I have to tell, clean the bathroom. I was like, hey, thank you, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But, and don't let me wash no car. I done did it that day. You know what I'm saying? So it's growing up, I never had really seen that part of my stepdad, though. My stepdad was a great guy, treating my mom was great, but I never seen, like being romantic, and stuff like that. And, even with my brother, he had, my brother, he had girlfriends and stuff, but, he never like, married or anything. So it was like, my brother had left me when I was young, too. He left me when I was like 11. He went to prison for 15 years. So it was like, I never like really had that chance to see him be that either. So it's like just a lot of learning experience, but it's just good, man. And I learned a lot too, ever since I got into the church and all that type of stuff, and I learned how, how I'm supposed to treat my wife and all that type of stuff. So it's really a great learning experience, man. I wouldn't trade it for the world, man. And just being here, just being in the household with my kids, man, it just feel good, man. Like every day I wake up, man, I'm like, man, I'm here for them, and I'm gonna continue to be here for them, and it's just, man,
Wow.
yeah, man.